Why does the past matter today? Why, in other words, should we study history? Let's start by watching 3 short video clips.
Essentially, in the last year or so, there have been huge numbers of warnings in official Chinese sources, endorsed very much from the top level, about what's called historical nihilism. In other words, the idea that China should not think about the Communist Party's history as the way that historians in most countries would do, which is that it has its ups and its downs, it has its complexities, it has its nuances.
You've quoted General Milley calling Donald Trump a fascist. You yourself have not used that word to describe him. Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
23 months from merger to breakup. How did Singapore go from one state in Malaysia to an independent republic? For decades, the story has been that it had no choice, that independence was thrust upon it. Now, newly declassified papers suggest the story was far more deliberate than it seemed.
So what have we just seen? In the first clip, the historian Rana Mitter explains how the Chinese government in recent years has sought to represent China's long and complex past in ideologically correct terms, in opposition to what it labels historical nihilism. In the second, former U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris invokes fascism, term going back to Europe in the 1930s, as an historical analogy to explain Donald Trump. You might also have heard the term used to describe other world leaders today as politics globally lurches rightwards. And the third clip concerns the recent release by the Singapore government of the Albatross File, a collection of previously classified documents that have forced us to rethink Singapore's independence from Malaysia. It turns out that Singapore wasn't unilaterally kicked out of the Federation, but instead negotiated its separation in the years leading up to 9th August 1965. These and so many other examples remind us that history is not just a bunch of names, dates, and facts, but something that is politically contentious, that is being constantly subjected to debate and reinterpretation. It figures into how states and societies understand themselves and construct their collective and individual identities, because human beings are historical creatures. This, then, is why history matters today. To live in the present and to look forwards to the future, we must think backwards in time.